I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Just real quick, can I get a hands up for approval of the minutes? Both you should have to send from April and for May.
So moved.
And seconded if needed, and go for it.
Okay, so I get that. You want to introduce ourselves? Adam?
I'm Adam.
Good for you.
625 Joppa.
I'm Jim Lyon. I represent the Gloria Moon section of Harford County up District B. And the Joppa Volunteer Fire Company. Don't forget, we have bingo every Wednesday night. You're all welcome.
So you took your 3 minutes?
Huh?
You took your 3 minutes?
Yeah, I took my 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Janice and Robinson, Edgewood, I'm the co-chair of the council.
Gloria Moon, Joppa, as you've heard, and I'm the temporary secretary tonight. Temporary.
And thank you. I can't tell you how much you
I know you
so I'm
begged.
taking a minute.
She begged so.
Yeah, because Bob is out of town for work, so. I'm Paula Mullis, I'm your chair.
I'm Melissa DeRisca, Edgewood.
Okay, then we will go right to the sheriff's report. Captain McDougal is on.
Hello, everybody.
Right.
The date range I'll be discussing is May 1st through June 1st, and it's comparing 2024's numbers to 2025 every meeting when I give the crime report. The top 3 calls for service last year were number 1, suspicious incident, number 2, check on subjects, and number 3 were alarm calls. This year, 1 and 2 are the same, and the only difference is number 3 this year for that month time frame is 911 hangups.
That's interesting.
Total calls for service, we had 1,890 in 24 compared to 2,100 in 25. It's 11% increase in calls for service. Crashes were 34 last year compared to 26 this year, so we had a 24% decrease in our total crashes. And actually, our monthly crash analysis just came out about 30 minutes before this meeting. And the hot zone for crashes, usually we have a spot in this area along 40. There's no yellow or red there. It's kind of all migrated up towards 24, 924. So
A lot of them there.
all that construction area, we've seen that has been the hot spot for crashes. Our Part 1 crimes, we've seen a pretty big decrease in assaults. We had a 47% decrease there. Decrease in thefts, we had a 33% decrease there. Our largest increase, auto thefts, we went from 2 last year to 9 in that month's time frame. We had a huge spike in the Hondas and Kias, which has been a trend for the past 2 years. We had a big spike in May. There was a group of about 8 juveniles that were living in Cecil County. Some of them lived here in Harford County in the Darlington area. They were responsible for a lion's share of our stolen autos in the month of May. They have now since been, majority of them have been apprehended, and they're no longer a problem for us. Our overdose numbers for the year were 27% decrease in overdoses total year to date between now and last year. And the school bus violations, we've seen an increase in May. May of 24 we had 683. May of 25, 816. I will say that those 816 haven't been confirmed yet. It's the start of June. The employee here that goes through and confirms and watches the video on all of them and confirms them all was off today, so she'll be confirming them throughout the week. So that I think that 816, you may see it be a little bit lower than that when she's finished going through. Sometimes there's mistakes or errors, and she'll cancel out some of those. But we are on pace to be 2,000 less this school year than last school year. So we're on pace for 2,000 less total violations between 2 school years. So this is the first month we've seen it. Mostly it's been decreasing every month. There's a little increase this month, which is kind of odd. I don't have a reason for it or an explanation for it. So
Is there an age group, or you don't do group it by age?
We don't group it by age. We group it by registration state, not even vehicle types, but the locations are our biggest concern. We deploy resources at the bus stops where we're having the majority of them. But we do track what state the cars are titled and tagged in. We obviously track the offender cars. If there's multiple repeat vehicles, we track that as well.
Didn't you say 1 month that like Hanson and Mountain Road was a bad spot?
That always shows. That's pretty consistent on our. That's the one spot for this area where we have a lot. And occasionally, the daycare spot up further on 152 Stone.
Oh, yeah.
There's a stop there that occasionally pops up on the list, but that Hanson and 152 spot's pretty notorious. That is what I have for the report. I could take any questions if there are any.
Why
Yes?
do you think 911 hang-up calls have increased? Just people making mistakes, or is it?
They're always pretty high on the list. What often happens is that somebody wants to call report a crime and they dial it and then they decide to hang up, or that happens. The call drops. They're always pretty high, just outside the top 3 usually. So we must not have had a lot of alarm calls or suspicious check on subjects, and they just snuck into the 3rd spot. Yes.
Been having a little problem with left turns on red, especially at Joppa Farm Road and Route 40, and also people on Route 7.
That's what I count.
Yeah, down, but passing on the double yellow line going up the hill.
Oh, that's everywhere.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
And I realize that, but I'm having a feeling that it's also happening more up here in this county. Granted, it seems to be down more where the county breaks at.
Yeah. If you see an aggressive driver doing that type of behavior, just call us, call 911, report the car, last direction of travel, and we're always out and about. We'll try to try to stop them.
Yeah.
I got just one quick thing I forgot to ask you. Since we don't meet next month, how is the best way that we can help you all, and how do you want us to help with the youth letting off the fireworks and all of that stuff? 4th of July, because like I said, we're not here next month, so.
It's a Friday night this year too, 4th of July.
Oh, see, I was calm.
We're gonna be busy. Be a good witness. Get descriptions and call and provide us whatever you can, and we come out. We get overwhelmed with those calls with firework complaints, and we have to kind of prioritize. There are times where we'll get several firework calls in this one area. Once we deem it is fireworks and not shots fired, and then we try to figure out where it came from, originated, and try to stop the problem. But oftentimes we get priority calls to come out on top of that we try to get to them as fast as we can, but they're, sometimes we don't get there in time
Right,
to.
well, the only reason I had called not last year, year before last, was because they were setting them off down in the Village of Lakeview and the other apartment complex. They were setting them off in between the parked cars, and I kept encouraging them, take it to the sidewalk towards the street. I'm not trying to kill your fun, and to please get a bucket of water in case something happened.
Yeah.
But, then they got way out of control and even more dangerous, so I was just wondering if there's a battle plan as we head into that time, since we're not here next month.
Yeah, we'll social media, we'll put out fireworks safety, make sure and try to get the message out there, and then we have additional resources working that evening and that whole weekend in an effort to get out there and be proactive on enforcing any illegal behavior.
I had a question. Do we have any camps or anything of that nature engaging with the police this summer?
It's the big poster as soon as you walk in, our youth academy. It's a week-long camp at Harford Glen where they stay there for the entire week. We run it twice in the summer. So there's 2 weeks, one in July and one in August. The dates are on the poster. They're plastered all throughout every public school. They're on our social media. If I could bring some of those posters with, or I could send it to you guys and you guys can email it out if you would like. It's every we announce it at every high school because you have to be a high school student to attend. We announce it on the morning announcements every day, every morning from like pretty much the whole month of May and June to try to get encourage attendees.
And also, June 14th now, can you give the community information about that, movie night with the sheriff's office?
Yes, it was originally scheduled for this past Friday, I believe.
For 30th,
Yeah, the weather bumped it to the 14th. It's at the Friendship Park. If you guys have not been there, it's right behind the Wawa off of Woodsdale Road. It's a huge open park there. The movie playing this year is
Dogman.
what is it?
Dogman.
Dogman. There you go. Yeah, it's a great event. It's a lot of fun. Come on out. It's very family friendly. Something that is.
Where's that? Is that in Joppatowne?
It's in Abingdon.
Oh, Abingdon.
Yeah, go up 24, make it right on 924.
Uh-huh.
Meet it right on Woodsdale, the Wawa. Right behind that, and there's another set of businesses is right
Oh,
there.
okay.
Tons of free parking.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the whole parking lot's right there. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
when is National Night Out?
August, I tell you, I think I have it on my calendar.
Cause we won't be here.
Yeah. Is August 5th, Tuesday, August 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll have plenty of messaging from the sheriff's office, the county. It'll be put out. Dates, times, all that stuff, parking arrangements, and all that will be put out.
Okay.
All over social media.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so as I said last month, this is not not anything against anybody from the younger generation that is here, but we are delighted to have Karen Winlowski with us from the Department of Aging. Oh, Karen.
You want me to stand at the podium?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, good evening, everyone. I don't know why I'm here because I don't see anybody old enough to benefit from our services, but someday, right? You're raising your hands. I mean, Dion, seriously. All right, we're going to start with a mental acuity test, okay? Because I always think that's a good way to start. So I gave everybody a pen. Did anybody not get a pen?
Not kidding.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna pick up your pen. Everybody pick up your pen. If you put it away, it's okay. We'll let you have it. It's very important. Shh, 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 shh. You're giving away my pen. All right. So you're gonna click your pen so that the point is out. And you're going to remove the little wax ball at the end so the pen will work. So that you will not think that I gave you a dud pen. Everybody do that? Okay, A+ class, you did great. We do resource fairs. We got 20, 30, 40 people coming back. The pen doesn't work. It does, I promise. It's just to keep the ink fresh. Well, thank you so much for having me here this evening. It's great that you have such a wonderful turnout. That makes me very happy. I like to speak to a lot of people, and so it's nice to have a good crowd here tonight. My name is Karen. I'm with the Harford County Office on Aging. I'm not one of those Karens. I'm one of the nice ones. Unless you're mean to one of my seniors, then I'm that Karen. I gave out a couple things tonight in addition to the pen. I gave you a highlight sheet that looks like this, and then a blue folder. We're going to start with talking about the blue folder.
We didn't get it. I didn't.
Oh, didn't get any. Okay. Are there any blue folders left sitting around anywhere? Okay, there's some back there. And I can bring more and put them in the back of the room. Good, yay! All right. So, I'm not going to ask you to raise hands, but I have done this before and asked for people to raise their hands. I'm moving, I probably should.
I mean, I'll move with you if you need to.
Okay, all right. I went to Catholic school, so it's hard for me to stay in one space. I did it for 12 years, and that was enough. So this blue folder was created as a way to help people plan for a situation where they can't speak for themselves as to what their wishes are. Now, I see some very young people in this room, and you might think this is a thing for later. But something can happen, God forbid, to any of us at any time. And it's really important to let people know what you want and where your documents are and where everything important can be found and who to contact. On my way here tonight, I had a little extra time, and I told somebody I went up to the Checkers to get a Diet Coke, and literally right behind me, that accident that some of you passed happened. And it's a very good reminder of the fact that none of us knows when life is going to throw us a really big curveball. I have 2 sons, and they are 26 and 30, and even though I gave birth to them, if something happened tomorrow, there's no guarantee that medical professionals would even talk to me about their care. So, this is a good start on that. We all need to be planning, no matter 18 and older, we need to be planning for our future and making sure that our loved ones know what we want. I had the fortune and misfortune to become a caregiver for my aunt who was estranged from our family and lived in Philadelphia. And she had a son, and he was absent, and she had medical needs, and I had to make those decisions in the absence of knowing what she really wanted. Don't do that to your loved ones. Plan. And we have programs in our senior centers called Decisions That Determine Your Destiny. They're offered at least once every year. They're free, in partnership with the Bar Foundation, where you can come and find out what a good power of attorney looks like, what those documents should be, what a living will looks like. And if you attend the session, you can get a 15-minute pro bono session with one of the attorneys where they'll help you complete those documents. So keep an eye on our website, and I don't think we have any schedule right now till fall, but keep an eye on our website. So anyway, that's my commercial for this. All right, I'm going to spend most of my time this evening, and when I'm done talking and you need me to stop talking, somebody give me one of these, or don't get the hook or whatever and pull me off the stage. I'll assume that most of you know about our senior centers. You probably have been to them for, if not an activity for yourself, maybe for a youth program at one of our multi-purpose buildings. So put your hand up if you know where the activity centers are in Harford County. There are 4 of them. All right, so just quickly, those programs are free. Membership is free to anyone who is 55 or older, or 55 or better. You do not have to be a Harford County resident. You don't even have to be a Maryland resident, because most of our funding that supports those programs is federal. And so you can live anywhere and come to a center. We do have classes. Those are tuition-based for the most part, but there are a lot of free things to do in the centers. We have 3 shared use centers that have Parks and Rec in them. 2 have Boys and Girls Club in them. They're very busy buildings around the clock, and our Edgewood Center is a little smaller, but we're very lucky we have use of the rec center up the road to do a lot of classes and programs in the gym. So we like to think of our centers as a place where people can get more active, make social connections, all the things that we know that help us age well. And one of the big things we know is social connections are really, really important. So our centers are a great place for that to happen. I'm going to talk more about the other side of the sheet. And this is our main office functions. And these are some of the things that people maybe don't know so much about. So if you have an issue, concern, question about anything related to being a senior, believe me, we get all the calls. I get the phone call, there's a gopher in my backyard, can somebody come trap it? I've had the phone call of, I'm really lonely, can you help me find a date? So we get all the calls, and that's fine. That's really what we're there for. So if you call the Harford County Office on Aging, you're going to go through a triage process. We have a dedicated staff person who that is her job. She answers the phone, she finds out what information you're looking for, and she'll connect you with a caseworker if you need further services who is assigned to your area of the county. We do that because our caseworkers sometimes do home visits, and we don't want them driving from Edgewood to Ballston to Havre de Grace and all over the place. It's just more efficient that way, and they get to know that community really, really well. Sometimes people just need information, and it's here's that phone number and off you go, but sometimes people need a little more assistance. So some of the things that we offer in our office are connections. We connect people to resources, we refer to programs and services, and sometimes we screen people for services that we offer in our office that are, for the most part, state funded to provide them with assistance. Most of our calls are coming from older adults themselves, but often also from caregivers. And so we know that it's a lot of work to be a caregiver, and it's a full-time job that you never get a vacation day from. You never get a sick day when you're a caregiver. So we do have programs that also support caregivers. To give you an idea of some of the programs that we have that are state funded, we have a program called Senior Care. That program, and I will qualify this with saying these programs I'm going to talk about have eligibility criteria. So you have to be 62, and you have to have a functional need for the program, which is assessed initially by us, but then later by the health department. And then also you have to meet financial criteria. But the Senior Care program is a true blessing that we have, because what it allows us to do is to put services into someone's home. So say you are living in your home, you're trying to sustain there, you can't afford an assisted living because most people can't. And assisted living, so right here, let's put an underline under this. Medicare does not pay for assisted living. The only thing that pays for assisted living is you, or long-term care insurance, or if there is a miraculous occurrence and you manage to get Medicaid waiver, that will pay for assisted living as well. But most people don't have funds for that, so we try to support people in the community because we all want to stay in our home or the closest thing to our home. So Senior Care is a program that can provide chore service in your home. It can provide respite service for a caregiver. It can provide assistance with bathing and grooming. It can provide up to 2 days of adult daycare. It can provide support for incontinence supplies, prescription costs, nutritional supplies. So there's a lot that it can do. And it really is an amazing program that does a lot to really help people age well in the community and to prevent institutionalization. And of course, like everything else, this is a great program, but of course there's, not as much funding as we would like. We had to fight really, 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 really hard this year to keep our funding because there was a proposed $2.5 million cut to our budget that we're in this year. So we pulled out all our advocates, and we were very successful in protecting that money for this year and for next. Another program that we have that supports people not going into nursing homes is a program called the Senior Assisted Living Subsidy Program. Again, you have to have a functional need, you have to meet the financial eligibility and the age criteria. But this program can offset up to $1,056 a month for assisted living costs. And that sounds great, but if you look at what an assisted living costs, this is a program that makes me scratch my head. I didn't design these programs, I just get to administer them. But you have to meet the financial eligibility to participate in the program, but if you meet the financial eligibility, the chances that you can make up the difference in what our program will fund and what it costs to be in an assisted living facility. Most people that we work with have family that help. So it is a great program that does help bridge the gap, but there's just not enough money to go around. And we have about 19 providers that participate in Harford County in that program, assisted living. Some of them actually we never place anybody with, because if you're trying to afford an assisted living facility and that ALF is a provider for us, but they cost $7,000 a month. But it is a wonderful program, and we're fighting to see more money go into that program. One of the other things that we do is to help people with benefits counseling. Medicare is very, very complex. There's all this alphabet soup, Medicare A, B, C, D. What does it all mean? When do I have to sign up? How do I select a Part D plan for my prescription enrollment? It's really, really complex. So we have done a lot of education online, because I have about 60% of an employee that does this kind of work part-time. So we have to teach people how to fish, because we can't sit with them and fish for them. So we try to educate people in the community with what they need so they're empowered, because honestly it sounds scary and it looks complex, but if you watch our videos that are on our website, that is at the bottom of the page, it really is not as scary as you think. And we do sessions particularly around open enrollment in the fall for Part D. That's your prescription plan coverage. I think that process is a little like going up the road to the casino and putting a token in and pulling the arm down, because you never know what plan's going to be best for you. But you have to check every year. It's a little, dodgy with some of these insurance companies because you could think, my own mom, I've got Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's the best. It's fine. I don't need to research. I don't need to go into Plan Finder, which takes like maybe 10 minutes, and put in all my medications, which is if you create a profile, it'll save it for you from year to year to year. So once you've done it, it's done. You just update it. And actually, Medicare knows what prescriptions you get. So when you go into Plan Finder, it'll say, hey, what about these? And you can just click those and it'll pull them over. You tell them what pharmacy you want to use. Do you want to use mail order? Do you want a 30-day supply or a 90-day supply? And it will tell you in order what your best plan cost is going to be. A lot of people do it once or don't do it at all, like my mom, think Blue Cross and Blue Shield, that's the thing. Got to stick with that. When she finally let me do her plan, we saved her about $800 a year. You cannot also coast and ride on what you've already selected because those tricky insurance companies will change the formulary, change the deductible, and all of a sudden, what you paid $2 for in December, you're paying $18 for in January or a lot more. So that's a process that we do in the community. We do education every year. It's also on the website. October 15th, December 15th, every year, you got to do that. Important thing, save you a lot of money. Also, go to all your doctors before open enrollment. So if any of your medications change, you already know what they are. Schedule your doctor's appointments at the end of the summer. Okay, so some of the other things that we do in our office, in addition to health insurance counseling, we have a senior Medicare patrol. We help people identify fraud. I read a great stat today that said for every $1 invested in this program, $8 is saved by Medicare. Open your EOBs and look at them. I know they're not the best reading, but on a night when you really can't go to sleep, open up those EOBs you get from your insurance company and take a look at them and make sure you actually had everything that was on there and that screening that you're paying for that's being billed to Medicare actually happened. It's important to make sure that we're protecting each other because fraud costs us all money, everybody. Our caregiver program, we have a federal program called the National Family Caregiver Support Program. It's basically, it can do a lot of the same things that I mentioned for senior care, but it does them short term. So say somebody reaches out to us and we think they're going to be eligible for senior care, but we know they need help right now, right this very minute. They can't wait for 4 weeks for us to do the assessment and the health department go out and maybe there's a wait list. So that caregivers program can put services in right now as a bridge to senior care services. And we do lots of things with those funds. We may put respite care in. We might help with chore service. We also might replace a hot water heater that's blown up and this person hasn't been able to get a hot shower and their caregiver can't afford to spend the money to get that fixed. Again, sounds wonderful. We have limited resources, but we do our very best to help with that program. That was a program that we were very worried about because it was slated for a complete cut in the next federal budget. So fortunately, it's hanging in there, and it makes all the difference for people. Think about what would happen if you're the primary caregiver for a loved one, and you have to have surgery, and you've got nobody else. This program is something that can help with that. Let's see. Anytime you have a question or you need a resource, you can call our office. It doesn't, we get calls from everybody. I get young people, older people. Yes, ma'am.
Can you give us the phone number?
Yes, it's on there. It's right here in that blue box.
On your pen?
And it's on the pen.
Oh, mental acuity there.
I didn't want to say, but it's 410-638-3025. It's also over here on the side. There may be more direct phone numbers for some of the programs. For instance, like our guardianship program has a different phone number. And we, like I said, we field all kinds of calls. We answer the phone sometimes when, other people call and we're a live person, we actually answer the phone. So we get a lot of phone calls from people that have tried 3 or 4 other places and they haven't gotten a person or they haven't gotten an answer. And so we do what we can to help. I want to mention one more thing, and it's kind of like our senior centers are sort of where someone might start services and programs and involvement with our office. And at the other end of the spectrum, there's our guardianship program. Our guardianship program happens when someone doesn't do this. They don't do their homework, or Sometimes it happens when there's family members that exploit, abuse, or neglect a loved one, and that happens a lot, unfortunately. Or maybe people just don't have anyone who can step up and be their decision maker. So you hear of children becoming a ward of the state or a ward of the county. That happens at end of life too. So I know I don't look old enough, but I have about 57 children, and the oldest of them is 89, and the youngest of them is 66. And that's what happens when somebody doesn't have a designated caregiver or decision maker, and they're adjudicated as not competent by the courts. They become my kid. And I'm as responsible. I'm actually more responsible for them as I would be for my own children, because my kids are adults now. And we have 3 caseworkers that basically are professional daughters to these individuals, and we make all their medical decisions. We decide where they're going to live. They have a separate guardian of property who manages their money, but we become their family. And we are good at what we do. We don't miss a birthday, a holiday. We are good at what we do. But believe me, most of you have somebody better in your life than us, because it's like I walked up to a stranger on the street and all of a sudden I'm responsible for all of their well-being decisions. It's not ideal. When I started here 18 years ago, we had never had more than 12 people. And like I said, we've been at the highest at 60. So not ideal, not something we want to see happen, but like I said, I believe we do a very good job of taking care of those who are assigned to us by the court system. And but not ideal. Okay, so I talked a lot. Do you have any questions? Yes.
This senior care here, you said 62.
Mhm.
Is that the age? Because it says 65 plus.
Well, we try to screen people in when we can. 65 is generally the rule, but we had some additional funds. That what happened was when they were going to freeze our funds and take our funds away, we were on hold. We didn't enroll anybody, so we bumped it back down. So right now it's 62. When we hit the new fiscal year, it'll go back up to 65. So.
Since the state of Maryland so lovingly kicked all their retirees to the curb,
I know.
how much of a strain is that putting on your services?
It was rough. It was really frustrating for us because the state contracted with another provider to do the counseling for that, and we didn't know who they were, so we didn't trust them. And they could have been great, but we didn't know. And we know this is what we've done. I mean, my people that are involved in this, they've been doing this for a long time. We haven't heard any blowbacks of anybody having a bad experience with something they were counseled to do by the company that DBAM contracted with, but we helped anybody regardless of what their situation was. You know, we always will. It was an uptick, but we actually had a delay because of the court involvement. It was pushed back for a minute, so we knew it was coming. And what we do for state retirees is really the same process we do for anybody else. It was just, a lot of people were really mad about the situation, and not necessarily mad at us, but they were frustrated. So, but those online resources are phenomenal and great resources for anybody. And once you do that process once, it's not hard to do it again. You can go to local pharmacists and brokers. The difference with what we do is that we don't have a dog in the game or a dog in the race. So what we're doing is completely unbiased. We're not going to drive you towards a product or a provider that we have a contract with or anything like that. We're completely unbiased. So, yes, ma'am.
Thanks for your presentation. Do you have any more copies of the sheet?
I do. I have a bunch right here.
Perfect, thanks.
I have a question.
Oh, wait, let me go over here and then I'll go over there.
Just a quick question on your senior care. There's a financial criteria, and obviously we can call and get that specifically, but in general, for most of your financial criteria, must they be on Medicaid?
No.
Or are they on the?
No, the nice thing about senior care is it's the benefit of senior care is that it captures people who are above Medicaid level.
Okay.
Don't get Medicaid. Oh my Lord. The process of getting on Medicaid in the state of Maryland right now is so challenging.
And because a lot of times taking care of the loved ones at home, you are above the Medicaid, like you don't qualify for Medicaid, but it is very expensive for assisted, care when you have your caretakers at home. It's extremely expensive and it's not, a tax break, so.
Right.
You know, care, like.
Well, there was legislation passed to create a tax break for caregivers, but it wasn't funded. So the legislation might as well have not been passed.
Right.
But it has brought that whole issue to the forefront, and I will tell you that my counterparts and I from across the state, we have professional organizations, we're part of advocacy groups, even our state agency is advocating to make sure that when it comes around to session next year, that pushes forward, because that's such an important, there's so many of us providing care.
Yeah.
And any little thing helps.
Thank you.
There was something over here.
Hang on one second.
I'm just gonna ask, do you have any specific programs designated for veterans?
What we generally do is refer to the Veterans Administration, because their programs are so complex and it seems like things change so often. There's no way we could stay on top of it, and we don't want to ever guide somebody without the right expertise. So we connect directly to the VA, but if somebody, say, doesn't have enough service time or anything like that, for any reason they can't benefit from the VA services, then we can step in and help. So like for the senior care program, generally vets wouldn't be eligible for that because they would have a better resource. But if they're not eligible for that and they have something that shows that, then they can enroll in our programs.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Leon?
Yeah, you can take them as a dependent. If they move in with you, you can then, under a tax form, send as a dependent.
Yes.
I'm a long law for 10 years.
Yeah.
Passed away recently. And you can take them as a dependent, so you do have that for help.
Yep, that is a help, but it would be great to see that particular bill get some funding put behind it.
I have a question. So it's with the cutting of your funding, wouldn't it be cheaper to keep people in their homes and provide the services rather than putting them in like an assisted living facility? That would be more money that the Medicare, Medicaid would have to pay out, because it's going to be a lot more money to have a person in a facility rather than having them at home.
It is ideal, you know, but there are people who reach a point in their care needs that they need 24-hour supervision that can't be provided at home. Most of the families we work with have tried everything to make sure that they could do whatever they could do at home. But there are just times when there is more need for support, or maybe there is friction in the home because, you know, particularly with dementia, sometimes that can cause personality conflicts or behavioral issues in the home that make it really hard for people to continue to live together. I also had a gentleman who, part of the reason he went into assisted living was because he was a veteran. He was very, very proud. He did not want his family bathing him or waiting on him or feeding him, so it was a dignity issue for him. So there are all different reasons why people do choose an assisted living, but that's definitely the most cost-effective thing to provide care in the community. That's what the Medicaid waiver does. It provides the opportunity for somebody who's met a nursing home level of care to waive that nursing home placement and then get services in the community because it's more cost-effective. It's the whole concept of the program. So you're right on point.
Thank you.
Yes.
There is someone online named Tammy who says that you are awesome.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Would you happen to know the percentage of Harford County residents who are 62 and over? Is that way to?
I can tell you 60 and older.
60.
It's about 21% the last time I checked.
And does that in any way drive funding or the resources that you would request or receive?
So, there are formulas at the state level. I've worked here 18 years and not been able to figure them out. But part of it does relate to our demographics, and so that is a part of the formula. I can't say exactly how much, but it does play into it. One of the things that I think is important to remember is that older adults are outpacing the number of kids entering school. You know, the number of kids that we're serving in the school system is starting to pale in comparison by the number of people that we're serving who are older adults. And I can tell you that, and I have kids, I love kids, don't get me wrong, I want kids to have resources, but I want older adults to have resources too, because we're living longer, and we're actually living weller, not just living longer and not having a good quality of life. We are living longer and having a good quality of life, but it takes resources. And Maryland actually we have a state secretary in office now who has taken this very issue to task, and she's created a whole initiative called Longevity Ready Maryland. Because right now, the kids who are 5-year-olds entering kindergarten are expected to have 100-year lifespans. And we are not ready. We're not ready. So we have to work on getting ready. And that takes, the whole concept behind that is multi-sector. Because it's not just an office on aging with my, 30-some staff. We're not going to save everybody. We have to save each other. We have to have businesses that are engaged in supporting older adults and serving older adults. We have to have communities that are aging friendly, and roadways and walkways and all the things that make a quality of life better for anybody. And we've got a lot of work to do in Maryland.
Last time. What, if anything, can those of us, or those of big folks here, who are not 60 and over, do to help you or to help the Office of Aging with acquiring funds?
Well, everybody can help with that. I had not thought about, but this is a good resource to keep in mind. We really went to the mat. I am currently the vice president and the president-elect of our professional association of all the AAA directors in the state. And so advocacy, when we had that we were confronted with a cut of our senior care funds. I mean, we were going to lose $90,000 in Harford County, and we were 8 months into the year. That could not happen. So we have an advisory board, and we have a connection with our Geriatric Assistance and Information Network, and people wrote letters, and our county executive was there to support us in connecting with other elected officials so that we could get the word out about what this really means to Harford County. But I can certainly share that information with all of you when we hit something like that, and usually we already have sort of a bullet points to speak from or a draft letter. So that's certainly something you can do, and anybody of any age can do that. But you young folks out there, you got to start thinking about getting older in a different way. We were very fortunate. Harford County just gave us a wonderful opportunity for a life insurance policy that also has long-term care assigned to it as well. And when you're young, it's really cost effective. When you're old like me, not so much. But I know that younger people who work for county government may not take that because that seems so far off. It's not far off. You want to plan for that, like that's going to be the biggest, best vacation of your entire life. And you can't just, we all know we can't just depend on things like Social Security. So really just thinking about, pay attention when you're with your new employer and they talk about that retirement plan. And understand what that is. And if you change jobs, that's great. Young people change jobs a lot more than I ever did. But make sure you take everything you're owed with you when you go, or understand how you can get it. So just be planful and thinking about it. None of us think we're going to wake up one day and be the age that we are, but it happens if we're blessed. And you're never going to get any younger. So be thinking about it.
All right, last two questions. Go ahead.
This folder, is there any way to get more?
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of them in my car. I'll bring in and I'll put them back here on the window ledge, and I'll put the rest of these sheets there too.
Okay, I might not be here towards the end. Is there any way to get more outside of here?
Yeah, at my office, anytime. If you tell me where you need it, we can drop them off. But when I'm done talking, I'll go right out to my car and bring them right back in.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
And we have tons of these, so please, if you belong to a church group, if you belong to a reading club, this is a great little project to sit down and make sure you do. It's also available online, so if you're more of a digital person, you can go there.
Last question.
I have questions. Well, the first one I have is about, we're talking about the money for the care services. with the gap for assisted living. Does that apply for individuals that are eligible for what is deemed independent assisted living? Meaning they still do quite a bit for themselves, like the individual drives or different things, but because of certain conditions, they should not be living alone. Does that $1,000 and some dollars you were talking about help with that gap? Then my second question is, on your local level, do you all get involved with the whole process with the Medicaid, the waiver care thing? Because we were confronted with a perplexity. You gave them, you approved the individual for respite care services. So you're saying that if there's nobody in the household or there's no live-in aid there to be there when the person is at work or whatever, the regular caregiver, if they stamp that application approved immediately, but didn't approve for the waiver care.
Okay, that wasn't me.
Make it make sense.
I would love to make it make sense, but I can't. So unless that person got senior care, I didn't have anything to do with approving it, because I don't have anything to do with Medicaid. And I do not have anything to do with Medicaid, because it would be better than it is. Because it's a challenge right now, and it's hard to navigate, it's hard for people to understand, and the wait lists are astronomical. And so if somebody got senior care, I probably would approve them for respite care. But also there's a health department assessment process that looks at their activities of daily living, or independent activities of daily living, ADLs, IADLs. That's what drives the whole world when it comes to health care for older folks. So the only thing that my office has to do with Medicaid is to tell people about how you apply, where you go to apply, and we do case manage about 25 individuals, but they've already been, found appropriate for services and everything else. I can't
Not Medicaid itself, but the waiver care. Okay, with the Maryland waiver, I'm talking about the waiver where the person has
the same
Medicare,
thing.
they apply for the waiver.
No, they had
to give them full
Medicaid.
Medicaid.
They had Medicaid, not Medicare.
Yeah.
That's very confusing too. Why they're so close in name, I don't know, but they are. But Medicaid is a whole different process. And right now, we have people who have applied for Medicaid and have been submitted their application and been approved, and been waiting 2 or 3 years for plans of approval to be approved. And it's a federal program it's very, very complex, but it's not run through my office.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I will put a few of my business cards in the back if anybody has
We
follow-up
need
questions.
the inside sheets.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
Thank you.
Cynthia, you're up.
Cynthia Lynch from Harford Council. My announcement today is that we now have a new county health officer. Her name is Lauren Booby. So there was a long process of interviewing, and she has been approved now. We're also, this week on the 4th, Wednesday, we're having an adequate public facilities meeting that anybody is welcome to attend. Tomorrow at the meeting, the regular council meeting, there will be several public hearings. Some of them are on, one is about closing part of the technology drive for development beyond in the back. They want to have more development back there, so they're closing off part of the entrance to the house. We're also having a bond authorization. This will all be in the public hearing, and economic development loan, for Charles City Road. So that's what's going on.
Thank you, Cynthia. Laura, you're up.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening. How you doing?
We're going to fill your entire summer up with the activities that we have here in Harford County.
She gets her 10 minutes for July and August on top of 10 minutes tonight.
Got swimming pools?
Time right here, so you got all the time you want.
Thank you.
I'm kidding.
I'm certain that I do not have enough flyers here, but my suggestion to you would be to write the date and the activity beside your notes, because I know it's not enough. It might be 25 per packet, and there's about 8 different packets, straight through June to September.
Make sure we get them.
Okay? So you can fight over these, but you can also go to the website that I refer to each month to get your information. From the county executive's office and this administration, for those of you that have not heard me say this, the county executive is a U.S. Army veteran. He is especially excited about this month's events celebrating the Army's 250th birthday in partnership with our Veterans Commission and other veterans organizations such as Aberdeen Proving Ground and others. The county has something for all ages to mark this special occasion. So he would like for everyone to join him as we honor the men and women who have kept us safe and free for 250 years. So if you're a veteran, stand up, jump up and down. That's for our men and women. Give yourself a round of applause. The Army 250 Expo and concert is June the 8th. Please join the celebration of the U.S. Army's 250th birthday, which is Sunday, June the 8th, at Shamrock Park in Bel Air. It starts at 4 p.m. It's a free event, and it will feature interactive military equipment, vehicles displayed, kids' activities, and food trucks. So you can bring the young people out along with that, and you can educate them as well. A helicopter flyover by the Maryland National Guards, and they will have guest speakers for their enlistment ceremony. So you don't want to miss that, all right? You got to bring your own lawn chair. They're going to have a concert as well, so you have a full day of that. Army 250 Dinner and Dance is going to be June the 14th. It's been a long time since you've been out to kick up your heels and have a great time, and we're going through some difficult times, so this dinner dance is June 14th. You're going to celebrate Army's actual birthday Saturday, June 14th, with dinner and dancing at the American Legion, post number 39 in Bel Air. It starts at 6:30. It's a buffet-style dinner, and it's going to include pit turkey, beef, ham, beer, wine, and other non-alcoholic drinks. Cocktails will also be available for purchase. You'll have a DJ that will provide entertainment, patriotic music, and special dance tunes. Space is going to be limited. You can have special dance tunes to jump up and down from the 50s and 60s. That tells your age, doesn't it? The attire is business, casual. Uniforms are welcome. Tickets are $25 per person. Southern County Task Force. While we're improving the life for residents and businesses, in the Route 40 corridor, the focus from this administration, from the Southern Task Force, the county wants to talk more about partnership. The community organizations and individuals is producing real results, including neighborhood cleanups, better street lighting, and road improvements. You can get updates by viewing the website. You can share these views from 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, June 23rd at the Edgewood Recreation Center. We hope many people will come out to that. Registration is open for the Symposium on Addiction and Recovery. Harford County is not immune to the scourge of addiction affecting families throughout our nations, but help is always available. Someone have a question?
No, I just wanted people to lower their voice so I can hear you.
Okay, then may
Yeah, one at a time.
may we have your attention? Other people are trying to get some of this information, and I have a built-in mic, but if you cannot hear me, I will certainly turn the speaker up.
I can hear you, but I was,
Okay.
with the outside noise,
Okay.
like,
So we apologize, I'm so sorry, but if no one can hear any information that I'm giving, just raise your hand and I'll certainly repeat it, okay? But once again, the website will have that information. The Harford County is not immune to the scourge of addiction affecting families throughout our nation, but help is always available and recovery is possible. We want you to learn more by registering for the popular Symposium on Addiction and Recovery. You can go to the website. It's going to be held from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Friday, September 12th at Mountain Christian Church, 1802 Mountain Road in Joppa. Go to www.harfordcountymd.gov/symposium. Each month, we give you the website. All you need to do is go to it, input your information. It will answer the majority of your questions. We need volunteers for our bike camp for June 23rd to the 27th. So if you really want to enjoy that time with your kids and your grandkids, join the bike camp, June 23rd through the 27th. Volunteers are still needed for Harford County Summer Camp for people with differing abilities to learn and experience the thrill of bike riding. I'm going to share this with you, personal thought. My daughter never learned how to ride a bicycle. Never learned how to ride a bicycle. But as soon as she turned 15, she knew how to drive a car. I guess 4 wheels is better than 2 wheels. We need volunteer spotters to assist instructors and serve each rider on specially adapted bikes. No experience is necessary. The county executive is encouraging high school and college students to consider volunteering for this joyful and uplifting program. Our 8th annual bike camp will be held Monday, June 23rd through Friday, June 27th at Churchfield Recreation Center, level building 3023. Just go to the website, click Bike Camp Volunteers. And it's a good way to get our teenagers to volunteer as well while they're coming out of school, college, or whatever. Volunteerism looks great on the resume. So let them know that it's imperative that they be able to give back to the community. Dump the Pump Day. Ride free on Harford Transit Link buses, which is June 18th. National Dump the Pump Day encourages commuters to save money on gas and reduce the impact on our environment by using public transportation to get to and from where they need to go. You have the Harford Transit Link. That bus all day on Wednesday, June 18th, will be available. We also are hiring skilled bus drivers. For more information, including routes and schedules, visit Harford Link webpage. We're in this time of the season where we prepare for hurricane. We've had a lot of rain. We need that rain. However, we have to prepare for the hurricane season. We've been fortunate that Harford County hasn't been hit by a hurricane. By the time it reaches us, it has sort of slowed down, so we're quite fortunate. So it doesn't blow my little tin away. I'm just thankful that it doesn't hit us. Beginning of 2025, hurricane season will run through June 1st through November 30th. And it's a good time to prepare for those storms. Assemble a disaster supply kit and have an evacuation plan in place. We never do certain things until it's that very time. You need to prepare for things way ahead of time. If you need some help, visit the county website for details on what to do before and during a storm. Some may have basements, some may have other means of bunkering down for this, but we want you to prepare for it. Also, watch Harford TV, Inside Harford County, Economic Development. Please join our county executive and Karen Holt. She is the Director of Economic Development, Inside Harford County. Learn what we are doing to help businesses thrive and bring well-paying jobs into our communities. Inside Harford County, Harford's TV is a half-an-hour community affairs program airing on Wednesdays throughout the month on Armstrong Channel 7 and HD 101. The Comcast channel is 31 and HD 1084 and Verizon Channel 31. There's a lot of fun things going on here in Harford County. And the new Hello Harford website and the Facebook page are your best guides to farmers markets, breweries, restaurants, and exciting events. I would suggest make the brewery last. If you go there first, you may not make the other ones. So bookmark all of these sites and discover or rediscover where you can have a lot of fun. You're going to go to www.helloharford.com, and we are also available on Facebook. So if someone's not here tonight, and we know this is our last meeting until September, share that information with someone, and I hope everyone has a safe and pleasant summer. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Surely.
With the bike event, do they have to bring their own bikes, or would y'all be providing bikes to people that
That's a
don't have
good
bikes?
question. I know they had asked me a year ago to be a part of that. I think they have to have their own bikes, but I'll look into it for you and find out. Or let me see if I can give you a contact to ask that question instead of waiting on me.
Meredith Groff.
Beg your pardon?
Meredith Groff, if you have questions.
There
about
you
that.
go. Thank you so much. It's not in my material here, but thank you for responding. Did everyone hear what this young lady's question was? Want to say it again so everyone can hear?
I asked if people would have to bring their own bikes, or would they be provided a bike if they don't have one?
And you repeat
Yeah,
your response?
Meredith Groff, Groff, she's Disabilities Coordinator.
Is there a phone number?
Phone number is 410.
Oh, it's on the bottom. I have it.
You have it? 638-3373.
Okay, then very good for that.
Yeah.
Yes, question over here?
You mentioned a dinner and dance.
Yes.
Do you have a flyer on that, or?
Let's see. I do have one.
There's a couple up here.
Yeah, I was
And I would suggest to go out to as many of the events as you possibly can. It will take away from some of the stress that we're going through with our current economy. Mental health is an issue, and I think if you just take time to visit some of the activities here, you'll have a great time. Enjoy your summer. Looking forward to seeing everyone in September, possibly.
We don't have a hurricane.
All right, Rod, you're up. Ms. Lenore, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On here, I'm confused. It says willing and able to wear a a proper fitted bike helmet. So are they providing bike helmets?
You're gonna have to direct that to that call there as
Okay.
well. My office, which is housing and community services, I'm no longer there. But a lot of the employees there volunteered to do that last year, and they tried to get me to do it, but every time I go someplace, I wind up adopting somebody's kid, so I decided I wasn't gonna do that. So I want you to jot down all your information that you're looking for, because someone else may need to have that same information, okay, for that. And they do this every year, so whether it's gonna be the same person or not, I don't know. But it is good to be able to get out, enjoy, with young people. If you don't have any kids, you don't have grandkids, borrow someone's kid.
All right.
Okay. Oh, good evening, everybody. Ready back. Just one thing. I also brought some flyers in for the same thing for the 250 concert for the U.S. Army Expo and concert there. That'll be a great thing, great time for everybody. It's free, and it's good for that.
You brought me 4th of July safety stuff too?
The what?
You brought me some 4th of July safety stuff too? I just want I want you to be with your family on the 4th of July. I don't want these kids blowing stuff with these firecrackers.
Couple things we'll talk about real quick. Of course, mine's quick. Last month, if you remember, I handed out some information on grilling safety. I brought it again. The reason being, and I called Jim as soon as this happened, the very next day. Guess what we got a call with? Somebody's gas grill exploded because they were trying to light it, didn't light, went back in, got a match, never opened it up, put a match in there, and the whole thing exploded. A lot of burns, okay? Please spread the word, be safe. There's information about safety, gas grills, and dispose. Also brought up a flyer that I've had for a couple of years now. Improperly disposing of coals and stuff after you're using your grill or fireplace or whatever. Please, this has been a big problem. And then we also had a kitchen fire last month, and some kids were cooking and not knowing what to do. The stove caught on fire, so the first thing they do is grab a bowl of water and throw it on the fire. Guess what? It spread to the house. So. Couple of fires of note. Ebtai Drive, over $500,000 damage. Kids were burning incense or a candle. They tried to extinguish it with water. There was another one there, and it spread. The whole house was destroyed, so it's $500,000 worth of damage. Again, children were playing in a bedroom, unattended. They say they were adult children. I'm not sure what you call an adult now, but in any event, that's what caused that one there. We had another one in Jarrettsville on May 16th, 1.2 million. Now that one was accidental. It was a lightning strike. Beautiful home. Unfortunately, the 2 dogs perished, but they're being assisted by Jarrettsville and people up in that area there. Very nice family. I got to meet them. It's a shame. It was a very nice house up there. Then we can't help them that, but and then they were away, thank goodness. On 5/14, we had one in Joppa. Maybe the one down off of Gunpowder Road Drive, Gunpowder Road. It was some of the older homes on Gunpowder. I've forgotten, even I've forgotten they exist because I haven't been out a lot. These are the older homes, the very low numbers. Of course, unfortunately, 2 people perished in that fire. The biggest concern the fire marshal had, no smoke alarms. Some of these older homes, they don't have any working smoke. Had they had smoke alarms, they may have survived. Cause of death at this point is preliminary, but it was probably smoke inhalation. Okay, it was an older home, wood frame home, and it caught pretty quick. I can't stress enough to know 2 ways out of your house, from whatever room you're in, especially if you're sleeping, in case something happens. The fire in Gunpowder was in the front of the house. Whether that played into their not being able to escape, I don't know. Fire marshal doesn't know. All I can say is make sure at least 2 ways out to get out of your house and get away from it in case there was a fire. Another thing that came up recently last month, I know school's getting ready to let out, but they got this Chromebook challenge, and this a notice from the fire marshal's office. If you haven't seen it on the news yet or seen anything on it, kids are somehow on Facebook, they're taking metal devices maybe a paper clip or something, and sticking it in the port of their computer while it's plugged in. Not a good idea. Several kids have been burned throughout the United States. We've had a couple in Maryland where they're putting things in there. And again, talk to kids, grandkids, whatever. Let them know this is not a good idea. Okay, again, people just playing around. I don't know where the mentality is. Another thing, we had another one in Cecil County at the end of May, and I'm bringing this up because it was over $760,000 worth of damage to a house, but it's because the person had rags that were coated with a staining solution stored in an area where there was combustibles, and it combusted. The best thing I said, and I don't know whether it was a light bulb or something. It was something electrical that caused it, but they caught fire, of course, destroyed their home. So please be careful. We did a Sound the Alarm event, I think I told you this last month, in Aberdeen, and just to bring up, we installed 29 alarms in homes up there where they had the fatal fire a couple months ago. 29 homes that had no smoke alarms in Aberdeen. Think about that. This day and time of year, time in our lives, everybody should have working smoke alarms, completely. And Lenora saw a little bit of my thunder on the hurricane season, which is just started, but that's all right, because the more you hear it, the repetitive, it's better off anyway. We can get the tail end of hurricanes here, as you know. They will take a detour from the ocean, come up the bay. People more in Harford to go somewhere up to get damage from it than we are. However, there's always a possibility. And I'm going to reiterate what Lenora said. Have a plan, know where you're going to go. Have a safety pack. I call it a safety pack or an emergency package ready to go in case power goes out. And again, from here on out, who knows? Working flashlight with batteries in it. If you've got a solar one, they're probably good, but if you're not going to have sun, you're not going to be able to charge it. But keep things like that. Medicine, keep your medication. If you have something you have to take that you can't do without, make sure you have some, put it in a plastic bag or something, put it in a little duffel bag or something. Have all this stuff ready. Have a list of your medications. A lot of people have these refrigerator magnets now. You put them there or write a list and put them in the refrigerator. It's great when EMS, when we go into a house and they ask you what meds you're taking. Because, well, I got a whole bunch of them here, but they're right. Take the list off the refrigerator, we've got everything. Have a list of your medication, because in case of an emergency, Red Cross can get you this medication if it's needed. Okay, it's very important that this happens. It's not the fire department, it's the Red Cross. But they will make sure you get your meds. So it's a good thing to have a list of what's going on. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet, but since we are going into the season where we're not going to be around, I did bring some paper on fireworks safety, which we talk about every year. And every year I talk about it, and every year there's at least one person in Harford County that loses a finger or two because they're playing with danger.
Right.
Okay.
I had a question. So, when I lived in Florida, we had evacuation zones, just in case of a hurricane and things of that nature. Do we have any buildings around here, if that ever happened, like Home Depot or school?
Okay, good question. Usually, when the county declares an emergency, if there's a hurricane or something that comes in through and there's a lot of damage, normally some of the larger fire stations will be housing some of the churches. It depends on where it is and what the situation. Again, depending on where it happened. In Joppatowne, I think you're probably more apt to get a brunt of it than most other places, but who knows? I mean, we've had tornadoes go right up Route 24. When I first started with the fire department in 1990, I was with Abingdon, and we had one go right up 24. So, they can occur in tornadoes and hurricanes. So yes, there are places that are available. Usually the county will put it out. A lot of times they use libraries, and it will be accessible. So just, again, have I say a transistor radio, David. Nobody has a transistor radio. Have a battery operated radio or something where you can get emergency notifications from the county and stuff. In case the cell phones go down, you don't have your cell phone. Most people rely on their cell phone for notifications, but there will be places to go. And a lot of them nowadays are pet friendly, as long as your pet is on a leash and they take care of it. But again, fireworks safety. The other thing is, a lot of people are traveling this time of year. Little brochure about taking safety with you. Think about where you are, where your rooms are. Where's the nearest exit? It may not be the way you came into that hotel or that motel or house or whatever you're renting. So make sure you know the way out. Make sure your safety around the pool, especially with kids. Kids go in just like that. And we had 2 last year. One survived, one didn't. Where a kid being watched, parents sitting around the pool, and all of a sudden the kid walks in. Next thing you know, they see the kid. Okay, I hate to say it, but just be cautious. Be mindful, even if it's not your kid. Okay, keep an eye on kids around the pool. Everybody keep an eye out. You know, if you're sitting around the pool or something like that. You know about the prescription drug take back, and the fireworks safety. That's pretty much all that I have to get you through the summer. Of course, we're getting into the months now where a lot of your fire companies are going to have open houses going into September, October. I will say that Abington Fire Company is celebrating their 100th anniversary this Saturday from 11 until 4. If I remember correctly, we will be there at the safety house. So lots of demonstrations, food trucks, things going to celebrate their 100 years. So if you have time to get over to the main firehouse over in Abington on Abington Road. There will be parking. There will be a available bus shuttle from, I think they're parking at
Catholic Church.
The what?
Catholic Church.
The Catholic Church over there, and they probably may also use the dog park, I think. Okay, but there will be lots going on. You know, show your support for it. They've been around 100 years, and we'll be there and helping with them. Also, remember, Joppa Magnolia has bingo every Wednesday night still. Don't ever forget the bingo. Everybody loves bingo. Other than that, are there any questions?
I'm sorry, are they moving? I see, in Bell Camp area, that they're building an Abington Fire.
That is a new Abington, I keep saying house too. That's replacing the one that was in over off of on the other side of 40, down near where the water was. Oh gosh. Mind I swear I'm gonna have my niece already my brain but yeah.
Long Bar, down Long Bar.
Long Bar Harbor, right. This one is replacing Long Bar. It's right near the Citizens Nursing Home there. It's now something else now. Nursing home there. Yes, they are recruiting. We want new members in the Riverside Bell Camp area. It's a new station. There'll be an engine, at least 2 engines, and an ambulance out of that station, maybe more. They're recruiting for people. Again, we're looking for people for the firehouse. All the companies are looking, but that's a brand new firehouse. Should be open for the next few months, hopefully. Everything goes well. And yes, and again, it's additionally because there's a lot of things that are happening over in the Bell Camp Riverside area where we've got to get there quicker, and that's going to cover that.
In reference to having 2 ways out of the house, these ladders I've seen advertised in some places where you put them on the windowsill and stuff like that. How good is this?
How good a climber are you going out a window?
And we're talking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and maybe your house is on fire, and maybe the roof, maybe the ladder's wet, maybe it's not hooked right. They try to sell. Everybody wants to sell a good product. Personally, I don't think I'd be awake enough to climb out a ladder that time of night. Now, on the fire, it's a different story. But you're crawling out when your house is on fire and you want to get out of there as quickly as possible with whatever you can. It's up to you. Okay. I would say if you feel comfortable, do it. If you don't feel comfortable climbing down the ladder, again, you're talking a minimum of 20 feet, probably. So you make sure that ladder's long enough so that you get down so you're not dropping another 10 feet if you hit the bottom. One other thing,
Ladder's not stable.
we'll talk about the fire blanket.
Yeah.
Somebody asked a question about that last month, and I told you my take on it. Well, oddly enough, last week, information came out from the fire marshal's office that the fire departments, in a couple places, have tried to use them to put out fires. Well, guess what happens? They don't work as well as they should. What happened? They used it on a car fire, and everything built up underneath, and the car actually exploded because it kept the heat coming down. And then they had more of a problem. So there's one thing. You're going to see more and more on it that just came out last week, where they used it on a car fire because it's supposed to stop the fire and smother it out. Well, I don't know the specifics behind it yet. I got the preliminary information, but there was a video out on it, and basically it just blew apart. So that's my take. You make up your own mind. You're adults. I don't think I care for them. The fire marshal in Maryland does not particularly care for them. I will leave that information with you again. You make your own decision, but I don't think they're safe.
Alright, I got one more.
My opinion.
That's it. Yep.
Go ahead.
Let's go, I wanna follow up when you're throwing a ladder out the window. Are you gonna climb out a ladder at 3 a.m. in the morning in your bare feet and skivvies on? Probably not, all right?
That's a right you don't want to see.
Keep in mind, the other thing is keep your doors closed.
Right.
For God's sake, keep your doors closed. Take a sheet or towel, whatever, throw it out the window, close the window on it so it's hanging out the window. And when the firemen get there and they do the first look around, they'll see that and they'll know there's somebody they gotta get out.
They're gonna see my face in the window going.
Keep the doors closed and also keep the windows in your room closed until they come get you. All right?
So my last one is, I know you always inform us about the lithium ion batteries and the solar panels. So my neighbors, God bless them, they have 2 electric vehicles and solar panels. We're going into the summer. Do I have anything that I can say to them?
Or get on the street.
Say a prayer.
They're my neighbors.
I don't really want to get into that. I understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
And you all know my take. You've been coming here enough. You know my take on these things. I've seen too many fires when we get them, from lithium-ion batteries, car fire, stuff like that.
Yeah.
My neighbor just got one, so a little bit worried about that. And it keeps it plugged in at night. All I can say is be cautious. Whatever you're going to say to them, it's going to go over the head. Unfortunately, there's not much you can say right now. I will tell you this though: major car companies, and this was in the news about 2 weeks ago, have shut down or cut down on making electric cars, all electric cars.
Yeah.
They have actually slowed it down and slowing it quite a bit. There's a reason for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
No, Wanda?
Thank you.
Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm actually going to the firehouse in Abington's celebration on Saturday, so you will see me. I'm gonna hand out, today we received, they're gonna start sending me the newsletters from the Amtrak, so they sent newsletters, kind of updating periodically, so I have that. And then if anyone likes to run, walk, be healthy with your families, the NAACP, my other hat, is having their 5K in a couple weeks, so feel free to come out. Face painting, we have Kona Ice, we have Divergent Donuts, so you can run and then eat. All that stuff.
Councilwoman, do they need any volunteers? Cause I got the announcement as soon as they released it, and I tried to contact them and haven't not heard back from anybody yet.
Yeah, we are looking for volunteers, and there is a link that just went out. I just saw it today.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, I'll look at the Facebook page again when I get home.
Okay. So I won't be very long. Just some things. We finished all the work sessions for the budget. Public hearings were all held. Amendments are being proposed. Things are going back and forth, and so that's where we're at until tomorrow regarding the budget. So I'm just giving you a heads up. There's some emails coming out again. We're trying not to have anyone not have a job and not get their raises. I'm just giving that out there because that is the truth from the council. On Friday, June 27th, there's Project Connect. If you need a flyer, let me know. I did not print that one, but that is through United Way and the Epicenter. It's the all-day services.
Yes, the Epic Center sent some down. I gave the majority of them out on the way, sorry.
Great, that is perfect. I just want everyone to know that they're out there doing that all day.
Yes, and if you need a copy of your birth certificate or your vital records, get them for free. You don't have to drive to Ricestown or to the Harford County Vital Records Office and give up $20 or $25. Give it free today.
So anyway, eye exams, dental screenings, record expungements. I know a lot of people are doing that majorly because of the marijuana change in law, so that's still going on with the record expungements. the grass situation. I keep seeing things on Facebook, and sometimes I see it, sometimes I know what road it is, sometimes it doesn't say what road it is. And so they have stated that they are mainly responsible for mowing the medians. The email, and I know, Mr. Beck, you got some of that email too regarding that. The timeline of even the mowing seems kind of crazy to me, but it's looking like they're mowing only the medians. And when I say crazy is the roadside mowing is only mowed 4 times per year on any county roads. And basically the turnaround was approximately 7 weeks to get through each section before they go back through the next section. Some roads and some of the grassy area are part of the business owner, the homeowner. And so we might need to get on them if that's the case. I was in my neighborhood and there's a section that's not mowed, but it's between 2 residences, and I'm like, well, nobody's mowing it. I would think I would take the responsibility if one of the neighbors should mow it, but that did not happen. And then some of the HOAs are responsible for the mowing if that's under their jurisdiction. So if you see anything, just let me know. I'm not always on Facebook either, and I need to know what road it is, etc. And I will assist with letting Jane know, to let the mowers know. I am going to try to figure out why the schedule's so wonky, but other than that, with all that rain, we're going to get a lot of grass growing. That's obvious. We know that by mowing our own lawns. So I'm going to keep up with that. The county council is looking for, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2, 2 volunteers to fill the openings on the police accountability board. So if you're interested, applications are due by this Wednesday, June 7th, and the application is available on the county council website. So if anyone's interested.
June 7th is a Saturday. Is it due by Wednesday the 4th, or is it due by?
That's what it's on the app. And so I'm assuming it's the 4th. But Adam, I'm going to check that out because you are correct. It says Wednesday, June 7th. And if anyone's interested in the Ridgely Reserve, I have been following up closely with that as well. They did put another stop order on it until the end of June to have them fix several factors of it, because every time it's raining, like the rains that were coming, it's caused the water, the running of different things. A tree apparently fell, some other things are on there, knocking over like the fencing that they have established. So another stop work order has gone into effect for that as well. And that is it for me, unless you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I do.
Adam, yeah.
Last month we had a vigorous discussion saying that there was going to be Microsoft Teams made available by the county, so that we could see the people wanting to participate online and have that. I wrote an email expressing my pleasure with that on May the 6th, and I don't see it, didn't see any information about it. We've had 18 people watch this meeting tonight on the live stream, and I'm sure that there are people who would love to participate.
I did see her. She did reply that you guys can utilize Teams or Zoom, whichever you preferred.
Well, but I said last month at this meeting that I don't know how to do that in this room, that the technology is not available, and they said that it was simple, and I said, great, do it yourself. So if it's so easy.
Somebody that was here, I thought you talked to you. Okay.
I don't know.
Here for most of
That
the
was the
meeting.
person you spoke to, Melinda, and you all were saying that the police website, the password wasn't working. So that was your command to answer that.
Okay, well that was news to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. I don't see how that. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, Thank you.
I'm done, and now you guys can meet Allison for the first time.
I was gonna say, I'd like to welcome and introduce our new councilperson to District B. This is Allison Imhoff. Allison, welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. So mainly tonight, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Allison Imhoff. I am the new councilperson for District B. I am lifelong Harford County. In fact, I am 6th generation Harford County, raising the 7th generation. One of the vacancies on the Police Accountability Board was a seat that I held since its inception several years ago. So when I came over to the council, I relinquished that seat. So anybody who has any questions or interest in that position, please let me know. I'm happy to answer. I also happen to know that the Women's Commission will also be having an opening here soon. So anybody who's interested, please let me know. I am very well versed in that as well. So full disclosure, I was appointed on April 22nd and we started the budget on April 23rd. So trial by fire for sure. It's been a tremendous learning experience. So my background, I'm a social worker. So I actually have spent most of my career in and around Harford County, in every zip code, every school district. So I am super excited to not just be representing District B, but to also be able to kind of get around a little bit more and get to know everybody. I have a really great, the council and the government has been tremendous to me. So I'm hoping to have answers to questions, but I might need to ask a couple of people for the next couple of weeks until I can kind of get everything squared away. Like Nolanda said, we are still kind of in budget season. We sat through 4 days of budget hearings. We went through hundreds of lines of the county budget. The council did go back and have 4 asks. One was upgraded tasers and riot helmets for law enforcement. One was enough funding so the community college doesn't need to increase their tuition. One was to have security detail for our judges. For those of you who keep up with local news, there was a judge that was killed last year. And coming from someone who works in social work, there's a lot of people you're not going to make very happy. So we want to make sure our judges are safe. And then there was, state's attorney's office. Our state's attorney, lawyers, and paralegals do some really hard work. Everyone's been following the Rachel Morin case. We've seen how incredible that team is. We want to make sure that they're adequately paid. So those were the 4 asks from the council: the riot and helmet gears, the state's attorney's office, the Harford Community College not having to increase their tuition. What was the other one?
Judges.
So the judges, make sure the judges are safe. So that was the only 4 asks of the county council. So as we kind of go through these next couple of days and weeks, just be aware that those were our 4 priorities at this time. We understand that everyone's having to tighten their budgets, just society right now. Everyone's just trying to soften the blow as much as we can. But we just want to make sure that everyone's as safe as possible, and that our state's attorney's office really are recognized for the hard work that they've put in recently. You guys have any questions for me?
You got any calling cards on you?
I do. I have some in the bag.
I'll get it from you.
All right. Yes.
I was reading here the highlights about getting a outside attorney. What's that for?
So there, if you've been paying attention to local government, everyone's suing everybody else apparently. So there's been outside attorneys for various different situations, and there's been various different lawsuits and things going back and forth for probably about 2 years now. And unfortunately, the government and county attorneys can't represent everybody because sometimes multiple parties are in the county. So because of that, they have had to recruit outside attorneys. But we are.
Is this for some specific case?
And there's a few of them going on.
But you can't talk about now?
So one of them, one of them is my predecessor, right? So Councilmember Penman was told he couldn't hold both the sheriff position and the council position, and that went to court.
and it's still in the appeals court. And that costs money and that costs attorneys. So that's one of them. There's a few other ones that have been going on, and they've all made local news. So, you got any other questions?
Yeah,
mine.
What?
So
Yeah,
you know that.
go on with the
Gentleman in the back.
Yes.
With all the back and forth that we're just talking about,
Yeah.
has anybody thought about the establishment of a county inspector general?
So, possibly. I know that we have county auditors that have actually been actively engaged in the entire process. And so I think moving forward, we're going to have to reestablish an accountability practice in the county. But including a whole new inspector general, which is probably going to cost a lot of money, in a time where we're just trying to figure out how to balance the budget. I think long-term wise, that's a great idea. And so I encourage anyone to reach out and advocate for it, and the council will be happy to explore what our options are.
Don't we have an ethics committee for that?
We have an ethics committee, but the ethics committee is slightly different. So the ethics committee wants to make sure that anyone who works for the county government isn't violating, a code of conduct, basically. It doesn't necessarily have as much to do with like balancing a budget or making sure that we're spending money appropriately. It's making sure that people.
That's the auditors do.
Exactly, exactly. And there's a team of them. But, I think moving forward, so we don't keep kind of swirling around in the cycle that we've been in, we do need to figure out a plan moving forward.
Well, can't that be brought, next year is a state election year, so can't that be brought to a ballot question? Because I think it looks kind of strange that we're getting there, we're becoming more of a purple state instead of blue or red, but in a jurisdiction that's mostly red, when everybody around us, the blue jurisdictions, have inspector generals. Look at the one in the city that busted the over some $1 and some dollars that the police officers had gotten because of this wrong code being put into the computer system. They were still using an old code. So before I would rather see money go into that before you just do what O'Malley did to us and basically rape us in the middle of the night just saying, oh, we going up on taxes and everything. And the state Franco told them, can I get the tax returns and stuff first before you raise the sales tax? No, it didn't happen. So why not get that person on board so you can know? How could we ever say that would be a waste, that it wouldn't pay for itself?
And honestly, I'm a firm believer in checks and balances. So I think having an extra layer of an unbiased person whose sole job is just to make sure that we are spending the taxpayers' money as adequately as possible. Personally, I think it's a great idea. It's just a matter of being able to figure out how it all fits together and who they're accountable for and finding the right person for the role too. But I think it's a great idea. So I think it's really, really important for us to kind of explore what we can do moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's very, very critical, especially for everybody in this room, because everybody else around us is a municipality. That person would be the inspector general for the county. So they can double check and make sure Bel Air is sending what they need to really send and they not sliding it under the table somewhere, because it seems like I said, Joppa and Edgewood we're getting right, we're paying for everything and all the services and everything is going elsewhere and it's not right.
All right.
Thank you for taking the position.
Thank you.
I welcome you.
What'd you say?
We'll give it till September.
I appreciate it.
Anybody here from Andre's office? Okay. Anybody here from Laura Erickson's office? Okay, that means Rob, you're up.
I appreciate it.
Well, Lenora stole everybody's thunder tonight. I was busy sliding papers underneath my other papers because you were handing out papers all night. Well, finally, First Hartford Square, the camera project is moving along much better than it was. The poles are up, the cameras are up. The electric is the next thing to come, and we're waiting on BG&E to bring that to all the cameras and all the installation that's already there. The summer camp, we've already got more than 30 children enrolled in that, and applications are still being accepted if anybody wants to know. That's through Parks and Recreation, and that'll be held at the Edgewood Rec Center. The music event that was held at Mariner Park that was done by 755 Alliance was a great success on May 17th. Cedar Drive Skate Park is still under construction. It's being held up a little bit by the weather, but that's another project that 755 has been heavily involved in. That property is still under Board of Education, but it will be coming over to Harford County as surplus property, and it will be under the jurisdiction of Parks and Rec when it's finished. Repaving of roads in the communities of Edgewood and Joppa, you'll see quite a bit of that. I didn't bring the list of those roads being repaved, but we're doing quite a few roads in the Edgewood and the Joppa area this summer. Lake Serene, the rebuilds of 2 bridges and the repaving of the paths are in engineering right now, but they are coming along and will be done. June 8th, the Sunday Farmers Market is at the Edgewood American Legion, 8:30 to noon. Kennard Avenue Boat Ramp. Does anybody know where the Kennard Avenue Boat Ramp is?
Yeah. One in Edgewood? It's on
Kennard Avenue. Yeah, it's on Kennard Avenue at the end, all the way down to the end. And that property is actually jointly owned by Amtrak. Well, Amtrak owns a portion of it, Harford County owns the other portion of it. You enter through the gate, which is on Harford County. We've got a sewage pumping station there too, the Bill Blass pump station. We will be putting in an electric gate to limit the accessibility to that ramp. It'll be there'll be a code, or we're going to devise something so that people that want to use it can. But there's been a lot of activity. I'm surprised that we didn't hear about that from the Southern Precinct tonight, because there's been a tremendous amount of activity after hours, late at night, firecrackers, fireworks, fires under the bridge, a lot of activity. We're going to try to curtail that because the neighborhood is just being menaced by that activity. But that will be being worked on in the next couple of months. The community cleanup, the next one is going to be at Riverside Elementary School on June 14th, 8 to 12. So anybody who is anywhere in the area can bring their unwanted items from their households to that at the Riverside Elementary School. You don't have to be right nearby. You can bring it there as you have at other community cleanups. So if anybody's got any questions, go right ahead.
What time is that?
That cleanup is 8 to 12.
8 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
8:30.
8:30? Show up early, 8 o'clock. What do you got, Adam?
Are you having a Southern County Task Force meeting on June 23rd?
June 23rd, yep. I think that flyer was already handed out. There's also signs going up. If you haven't gotten one, you can have this one.
Thanks.
So Bob.
Yeah.
What is the process for requesting dumpsters for various community committees?
Let me know what neighborhood you want it in. I'm not so sure. They've already got them scheduled out this season. I mean, Brookside is coming up August 9th. October 11th is Deerfield. They had 4 of them scheduled up. I think they actually added one. There was a 5th one. That's it. So let me know where you want one, and we'll see what we can work out. Okay. What do you got?
What was the maximum number of children we were taking for the summer camp? I can't remember.
They're trying to be somewhere between that 50-60 number. Right now, we're still trying to get staffing for it.
Yeah.
And that's what determines how many children we're gonna have. So
Okay.
it's a high number, 30-something, near 40, but you can go ahead and apply, make application, and if we can get staffing for it, they'll be good.
And even with it, Ms. Lewis, it is 7 to 12. That's the ages.
Right.
We have a question up here, Robin.
Yes, ma'am.
So, 2 questions. One, is the summer camp free for kids, or?
Those that qualify, it is free.
Okay. So how do you qualify?
You will be asked about the programs that the family may be on, and that will qualify you for.
And that's on the department, that's on the
Yep.
That's
Parks
gonna-
and Recs.
Yeah,
Parks and Recs.
Parks and
It
Rec
is a
site.
fee outside of it if people don't qualify.
Right.
Okay.
Did you have another one?
And, yes, and you said staffing, so if you, like if you have someone that's looking for like a summer job,
Right.
where would they apply?
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Recs,
Mhm.
and is it an age requirement or?
Probably 16 and above.
Okay.
Well, let me just piggyback. So on the volunteer side, it was like 16 and above, but actual staff 18 and over.
Okay.
And they did close the registration for applicants for staffing, because we have to go into training, certification. and
So
training.
are we full
Not
with
on
staff?
kids, but they.
With staffing?
Yeah,
So you've
on
got
staff.
5 staff members?
I'm gonna tell you like this. So I applied for one of the leadership positions.
Right.
With that, they closed it on the 7th of May, the application process. From there, we have to be, CPR certified, AED, all that other stuff. But I won't even know until like maybe this week or next week if I have a position. So after that, they can kind of circle back in the pool if they need more staff.
Okay, but y'all still have openings for kids?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit.
Thank you, Rob.
Who else had anything?
Anybody
Nobody?
else?
We good?
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Pam, do you have anything you want to announce?
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to announce, in case you didn't see in the paper, that the 2 community gardens that's open public access at the American Legion and Presbyterian Church, where they have a picnic every second Saturday. So those are open, and we've harvested twice already of the, what we call the cold greens. So that was broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all the greens for salads. So the 1st of May, we planted the warm crops, and so those are just getting started, but they are open to the public. And Dominique Matson she's reaching out to people that have attended her classes to start a home garden. She is putting together the schedule of volunteers, but not that you have to volunteer to access it. We will put up a sign that says if you're gonna come and harvest, and you see a weed, please pull a weed. So that's gonna be the requirement. Then just contact her if you want to introduce a plant, because we wanna make sure they're compatible with the ones that's in the raised beds. So, those are the 2. So on June 8th is our farmer's market. We still, Melinda was here, we still have vouchers for the, market, $15 market vouchers if you haven't claimed yours already. So that's from 8:30 to 12 at the American Legion, followed by their state cornhole tournament that's open to the public. But, anyway, that's not part of us, but I just make that announcement because it's on the same day. And then after you finish all that, you can go to the sheriff's office, family movie night that's over at the Friendship Park. On June 14th is our cleanup day at Riverside Elementary, so the actual, the disposal will be 8:30 to noon, but we're gonna be there early to meet the trucks and all of that and coordinate people. So after that event, it sounds like you can go to, the Army's dance. Down there, so you have time.
Clean up and go
Yeah,
dancing, yeah.
exactly, clean up and then go get dolled up and go dancing. And then we did add, the county asked us to add a cleanup site for Church Creek Elementary, and that's for the Riverside Bell Camp area. And again, these are in areas, but they're open to the public, so please don't think it's just limited to that area. It's just for convenience of, placement for people who have, limited transportation, availability. So, to answer Jansen's question, for the Willoughby Beach side of it, we have an event on October the 11th. And again, if you can't wait that long to dispose, then come to one of the other ones. It's, free to the public. And then, we are working on, scaled down fall music festival back at, Flying Point Park. It's just, I'm taking a little breather with our team from, all of that. Yeah, we're excited. So after June 8th, the market is back to the first Sunday of the month. Okay? Yes?
Quick question about that. In regards to I missed the, learning how
how to garden. Are they gonna offer those classes again? So if you wanna learn how to.
Yeah, I'm not sure because that's up to Dominique. My role in that is to help her get the supplies and provide the avenue, which is at the venue, which is at the American Legion. So, I'll check with her, cause she did have about 30 people in each class.
Yeah.
And, you know, until we were providing she provided the supplies the first round so that they could continue. But this last one, we took them out and let them harvest. So far at that site, we've harvested about 25 pounds of greens. So it's exciting.
And we have a celebrity in the room, Miss Van Tan, with Hello Harford.
Yeah. I'm one of those silly goofs that will sign up for everything. So when we be one of those ambassadors on the Dump the Pump Day, you can sign up to talk about the survey. You know, people gripe, but okay, if you need something for the transit, then ride and complete the survey, and then you get a goodie bag. You know, so sign up for that if you want to ride. And that's actually how I learned the route to the buses, so that in the neighborhood, when people reach out and trying to get to work, I can talk, you know, confidently about how they access and then where to go, things like that. But yeah, you have to sign up for 2 runs.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Excellent.
Meet all kinds of people and then.
Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, do you have anything for us?
Yep. Hang on. Sorry. All right. So in addition to what Bang Tom just said, there is in Joppatowne, we have a community garden too. It's the Joppatowne Grow community garden. That's at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. It's not a Christian, or it's not a Joppatowne Christian Church thing. It's just on our property. I did get a notification this week from the team there. One of the people who is involved in that garden has now achieved her Master Gardener certification, which means that other people who are interested in achieving their Master Gardener certifications can go to the Joppatowne Grow Garden. Do you have one over there?
We have to consult with
Okay.
Master Gardeners to build our garden, but.
Okay. Well, so if you're interested in becoming a Master Gardener, you have to do certain hours under a Master Gardener, and you can do that with her. Her name is Lynn Godfrey, if anybody's interested in doing that. Also, as far as classes go, if anybody's interested in classes of any stripe, I've been trying to do things. Our church has done this thing that we've had called Local Learn. We made the branding specifically not have Joppatowne Christian Church involved with it at all. So if anybody wants to teach a class and you don't feel like you want to do it under Joppatowne Christian Church, that's fine. If you want to teach people things you know, if you want to learn things, we have a little form on our website that you can go and say, I want to learn X. And then I go try to find somebody who knows how to do that. We've had how to change the flat tire in a car, which we had one 18-year-old come to and then 4 35-year-olds. And then we also had a financial one that APGFCU came out and did. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, we already have some infrastructure for that. You don't have to. You can. What?
CPR, please.
CPR? I mean, yeah, that one we have to get, actual certified people to do, not just community members. But
Can I just add to that? The American Legion has a sign up for every Saturday. There's a CPR class. So you just do the QR code and then sign up to it.
There you go.
Saturday.
Okay. I announced this last month, but my predecessor, the original preacher of Joppatowne Christian Church, Lauren Deckard, passed away. His funeral is on Saturday. Some people have been asking about that. Saturday at 2 o'clock. We do have a little sign up on our website just to make sure that we have enough room for everybody, fire codes and stuff like that. He was a pretty popular guy. So if you could just let us know you're coming, that'd be great. We probably have some food for you too. I've been looking for a time to do a Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation meeting. We've been having some trouble competing with other meetings that are going on. Southern County Task Force is having a meeting in 3 Mondays. We would normally meet 2 Mondays from now, but there's an Amtrak Bridge meeting, so if anybody's interested in learning about that, there's a whole other group. I can get you information on that, which means that I think we're going to have to try to do it next Monday. I haven't talked to anybody about that date, but just tentatively June 9th at 6 p.m. And we are a group that does all kinds of different stuff: waterways, schools, highways, roads, zoning, everything. So if you want to come out, be a part of that, that's the Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation, June 9th, 6 p.m., the Joppatowne Christian Church building. I announced also last month that we will have 2 summer blood drives for the Joppatowne Area Blood Drive group. They are going to be on June 30th and August 27th, and they're going to run in the afternoon this time. They're both weekdays. It'll be roughly like 12 to 5 or 1 to 5. You have to, you can walk in, but there are appointments available for those at blood.jtown.org. And I will say that in that circuit, I've been trying to get them into the school building, and we've been successful. We've had 2 blood drives there, and because of the blood drives that we had at Joppatowne High School, we were able to secure a $500 scholarship for a graduating senior, which was awarded a couple weeks ago. So, unfortunately, you just, if you come to the blood drives over the summer when they're not in the school building, you just have to save lives. I don't know. Yeah. And then Christmas and July. Oh, and I am working on weekend blood drives. I need to talk to the guy in charge of those. Christmas in July is a free school supply giveaway from Joppatowne Christian Church. That's going to be on July 26th. It's free. Fun, games, food, whatever. You can come get a picture with Summer Santa, do snow cones and stuff like that. So come on by for that. That's from 12 to 3-ish, maybe a little bit before, on July 26th, since we're not meeting over then. And then Town Trivia is every Sunday night at Town Grill and Pub. It's just something fun to do in the neighborhood. I actually have a team that's looking for, they're going to be short on people this Sunday, so if you feel like coming out and just not doing too well, but you just want to have fun, come on by and have some fun with those people.
Thank you, Adam.
I'm just gonna add a little thing on lithium ion. I heard that if you got grandkids, great-grandkids, your own kids, if they're using any lithium ion from bikes to scooters to what, please unplug it at night. We haven't had any real incidents here, but across the United States, and particularly up in New York and Philadelphia and the apartments, they've had more than enough incidents of those things catching fire and then burning out an apartment or a whole group of apartments. But if you just like the cars that catch on fire in the garage before somebody discovers it and it's into the house. So lithium ion, please unplug them at night. Don't go to bed with them plugged in.
Johnson? Gloria?
I live very close to Jerusalem Mill. I think Karen Sanders is here with his daughter. They're having a problem with bicycles. They have these bicycle races, and they're going through the forest on dirt trails, and they're just tearing it up. And now they're actually going to have more. I mean, Harry can tell you about it after we're done here. But I think it's, I mean, I enjoy riding bicycles. I used to. Not anymore.
Well, maybe go to the bike camp.
Yeah, well, but I had some neighbors. We have a little woods, and I had some neighbor kids who rode their bicycles back in my woods. And I don't care if the kids come and play, but they really tore up my tiny little woods. So I can imagine what they do the whole Gunpowder Park area. That's our Harford County Jerusalem Mill.
Isn't there anything the county can do about it?
It's state park land.
Oh, okay.
And the park manager is a big advocate of expansion of the bike trails. Incidentally, there are more and more e-bikes with lithium batteries going through the forest now, which is a big concern for our companies. But we thought we had this thing resolved, and then just recently, the park management and the Secretary of Natural Resources, Josh Perch, is a big advocate of expanding and having more trails because Jerusalem Mill is a central location, and they said that will allow more people to come in and enjoy their bike riding and mountain biking there. But Terry Hanley and Mr. Castley are not in favor of this, and we're talking also to Kathy Klausmeyer, who's the Baltimore County Executive, because the park is in both counties.
Right.
So anyhow, we're working on it.
Okay.
But one other thing, Krista, you wanna tell them about?
Real quick, our concert series is starting on Sunday, from 6 to 8, and we're having a, Back to the Beach band. The Beach Boys, tribute, band. And, general admission is 15, but over 60 is $10. Under 12, children are free. And all of the proceeds that we raise go right back into the restoration of our historic village and the upkeep of everything. 6 to 8 p.m. And on the day of the concert, if by any chance it rains, we will notify by 1 o'clock on the website, and our Facebook page is Historic Jerusalem Mill Village. And we'll notify if there's any cancellation due to the weather.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Did you have a question? In your efforts to help get rid of the bicycles, have you contacted our last Lieutenant Governor, Boyd Rutherford? Because the whole time him and Hogan were in office, he made it his mission to try, he had hoped to get to every single state park, but he didn't make a couple. And if he didn't make you all, he would probably be a very, very good advocate for you all, because he was, I listened to C4 and them, and he was on all the time talking about the importance of maintaining the park system, so that would probably be the person, the best advocate.
We have a question over here for you.
I know I have a question. I had a comment for First Harford Square, just a couple of things that we're doing. Before our next meeting, we just wanted to share, we're partnering with APG and M&T for a Money Matters series that will be starting at the end of July. And we are hoping that it goes through for a couple of months. So we'll be opening up not just to our residents, but we'll be opening up for the surrounding area too. So really for focusing not only on just the kids, but also on that adult 20 to 40 age. We make sure that everyone understands how to manage their money, how to do budgets, how to prepare for retirement. We talked about post-retirement, just being financially sound all the way, but also our kids, there's a couple different events that we'll be having, just really focusing on how do they make, their whatever monies they have for it. Then also we'll be having a Friends of Harford and Residents Field Day event in July that we're still finalizing on 19th or 26th, but we'll share that with others. We're finalizing our vendors, but that will be happening next month. So we invite everybody to come out and, remember those kids tug of war and different things we used to play Foursquare and all that. So that'll be fun. And we'll have some vendors out there as well, and resources that we're sharing with folks. And then also we're partnering with Department of Health that will be starting our exercise and other activity series starting in July. Our first one is July. We have another one in August, third week of the month, every month through September, that we will be offering not just for our residents, but we'll be opening it up for those around as well, because we also have our clubhouse that's available for rental. It's very nice. We opened it last year, and it's nice, so it's available for anyone to rent. So if folks are interested, let us know. Our website will be coming open soon where people can see that. But I just wanted to share a couple of things. We partner with a lot of folks, with Nolanda as well. We'll be having the town hall, June 24th. At First Harford Square, talking about Edgewood as a municipality and other things. So that'll be June 24th. At our clubhouse, that'll be open for everyone in Edgewood, not just First Harford Square. So that's just what's happening in our little neighborhood.
Dion, you should have something?
Yeah, I just want to touch on a couple things. First, I want to thank Pam Ann for that outstanding job she did, and the people did at the Music in the Park.
Yes.
It was really great. We really got lucky because the weather the day before was absolutely terrible. It turned out great. The music was great. We enjoyed it a lot. Also, I was glad to see, of course, Rob was there, and Terry Hanley and County Executive both came. But I'm glad because I had a couple of things I wanted to show them. They finally got them focused about getting electricity in that pavilion, you know, because he didn't realize that there was a light pole right there, literally 20 feet from the pavilion, which they could tap right into. And so they're supposed to be moving on that. Also moving on, I bugged them about the buoy at the end, you know, that needs to be painted. Everybody don't know the story about that buoy that's mounted there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the story, didn't you? Used to be the mouth of the gunpowder broke loose, floated all the way to Europe. Europe got the buoy. They sent it back here when Charlie Anderson was the county executive, and he had it mounted there. So that's why that buoy is mounted there. But it needs painting bad. So
They should have painted it before they sent it back.
Yeah, should have painted it. Well, that's a long time ago too. Charlie Anderson was the first county executive.
I know.
Also, the pool area, things seem to be picking up a little bit as far as work goes.
Okay.
I know they've had some permit problems, but I know things are looking much better. And also, for those who don't know it, they bought the former swim club that was there on Joppatowne Road, and they don't know what they're going to do with it yet. So there's some discussions. I know they want to have an expansion there for overflow parking when they get full forward, when they get everything going like they want it there. Starting to plant those trees they brought up from 60 palm trees they brought up from Florida. You know, they're planting plush shrubbery. They're just about ready to open the 40 by 60 foot swimming pool. They got the pavilion built, and they want to make that into a bar sooner or later. And then they're going to cut a pathway into the Mariner Point Park. Also, the reason they bought that land, and also they bought the snowball stand that's right between that and the Italian restaurant. They also bought that piece of property. It wasn't the same thing. And what their intentions are is to cut a road in off Joppa Farm Road there to the main entrance to their marina and close off the end of the road. So then when you would turn in there, you'd be turning right there, that would be the road. So that's their intent, and I thought I'd just fill you all in on that. Oh, one other thing I wanted, I was very impressed. I got a letter from Lauren Aaron. She's a delegate out of District 7. I think we should send her an invitation to come to these meetings. Half of Joppatowne.
I have, and she has told me that she would be at this meeting, or her aide would be at this meeting, and I will send out another invitation.
Half of Joppatowne is in District 7.
I
We're
know.
not in 34-8,
I know.
thank God. And she sent me an 8-page summary of the House of Delegates and everything that happened there, which I've never gotten. And this is everything, summary. And I just want to touch base on just a couple things.
Make it quick.
I'll make it quick, because you don't want to know about all these taxes. You know, 6% on vending machines, 3% on Wi-Fi. Cannabis has gone up to 12%. Sports betting taxes from 15 to 20%. Legal excise tax is 6.5%. 3.5% on short-term vehicle rentals. 5% for every $5 for every new tire you buy for your car. Plus the recycling fees going from 80 cents to $1. Title fees are doubled. VIP fee raises are $30. Historic tags now only before $19.99. Rental vehicles registration discount, and fishing license, trout fees are all being raised. Boat dealer used stickers, title certificate fees all increased. $100 background text. $100 background, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hang on, yes, Ben.
Hang on.
Sorry. No. Gotta go, one at a time.
Yeah, I just forgot to mention that, you know, whatever side you're on with the Hello Harford, that's the county's new tourism office, they provided data for us, and they helped market that concert that we had on May 17th, and that Placer system that they had tracked it down to the day of attendance at Mariner Point Park, and then it broke it out by hours, so that we know like which band attracted the most people. Now, some of that could be from the marine, from the outdoor sports, but they did a geo-fencing, and the data supported what we already knew about the ice cream vouchers for the survey that went out. Over 300 people attended the event.
Wow.
So it was always nice to know that we had that available, but I do thank the Hello Harford group for putting it out there and doing their email blast and helping us, so.
All right, so,
We got to go, y'all.
How many veterans do we have in here?
listen, what? Quick.
Yeah, but those of you that are familiar with the Bear Legacy Trail, that's across from Emerton Elementary School, we're gonna build a place, eventually it'll be a, yeah. Anyway, it's getting ready to be opened again. Okay, they've been working with the last couple weekends, for kids and adults alike. And it's an honor to be one of those ladies that's in charge of it. It's right across from Emerton Elementary, keep watching the news, it should be opening up soon.
Thank
It's a very fun place, it's been closed for a while, but they've been working on it.
All I wanna say is everybody have a very safe summer. If you listen to the song, I will see you in September. And please remember, in September, that is the second Monday, because the first Monday is Labor Day, so always the second Monday in September. I'll send you
And y'all
notices.
have to wait until September.
Wait,
when I
we
can
ain't
say-
done. Finish. Listen, everybody, check on somebody in your community somewhere. Mental health is real. We won't see y'all this until September. So I want to make sure everybody is healthy. And I don't know y'all personally, but take care of your health. The statistics are real. So what we'll be doing in our neighborhood, mentor some young child, because they don't have summer school this year. They're gonna be running them up. We're gonna find little avenues for them to successfully do things. But please hit me on that one, because that's real. I don't wanna see anybody hurt. I want us all to be in good spirits, and see y'all in September.
Meeting is adjourned.
Have a good summer, all right?
You did awesome.